Hello and welcome back to this channel, Kids Who Travel. This is the second part in our London series, and this time we are going to be talking about what to visit when in London. There's a very common misconception of what you should visit. You probably see this, sorry for the blurry image, or this when you hear London. But what do you actually need to visit? What should you do if you're on a very budgety trip? Or what is actually worth seeing? Well, stay tuned for this video because we'll be going over the main things that you need to know when in London. Next video will be all about how to get to those places, or else this video will be very, very, very long. So, getting right into it. You may hear the main sites in London. We've got Westminster Abbey, the London Eye, British Museum, Parliament, Tower Bridge, Tower of London. Well, look at this. The Westminster Abbey costs over £20 per person. That's a lot. London Eye, a family of 4 for £100. That's incredible amount for a 30-minute ride once across in a ride that barely goes at 2 miles an hour. The British Museum, one of the biggest museums in the world, is actually free. The Parliament you cannot visit. Tower Bridge is £20 for a family, and Tower of London is £73. Well, what do you actually need to visit? The hidden gems and the best places to visit. Because as you could see, if we go back, most of these are way too expensive, and Tower Bridge you don't even need except British Museum. So you don't actually have to see, and I have a list coming up saying the stuff that you should highly avoid, and some of these places will be on there because it's just way too touristy, lots of lines, you don't need it. So here are the hidden gems and the best places to visit. The British Museum is the second biggest museum in the world. It's free. The Natural History Museum, great for kids, and has one of the best dinosaurs exhibits in the world. Free. Science Museum, perfect for kids, has many fun activities. Free. You can pay for some activities, and they have a 3D movie place, which is really cool, and you should go check that out. Actually, it's IMAX, I believe. Some movies are in 3D, and they're very cheap, and they're really informative and fun. The V&A Museum, less for kids, but many historic artifacts, including the biggest hand-sewed carpet, which they light up twice an hour. Free. Postal Museum, very, very, very fun for kids. £20 to £30 for family, depends on what you want to do. I threw this in here because this can be your one-day activity where you're paying, and this will be a blast, especially for kids who are younger than 5 or around that age, 5, 6 years old. It is such a fun place. I visited it when I was 10 years old, and I really, really enjoyed it. Sights to see. Now, those are some places that you go inside. But here, you can go to Westminster and look at the Big Ben, the Parliament buildings, and the Westminster Abbey. You don't have to go inside, but there are such beautiful sights. Then if you go across the Westminster Bridge and you walk around the South Bank, it's on the water. I will show you a map soon. It has lots of free shows that you can tip the people, cool restaurants, including Oaxaca, one of my favorite Mexican restaurants, coming up later in our Restaurants in London episode. And it has a very fun kids playground called the Jubilee Playground, and it has one of the best food markets in London on the weekends. You can walk around Hyde Park, go to the Princess Diana Fountain and Playground. Both of those are for kids. You can walk around Regent Park, taking in the natural beauty. This park is incredible. It is such wonderful flowers and a lot of cool nature. You can walk around Soho, which is central London, going on Oxford and Regent Street and Covent Garden, and you can do a whole walk across Buckingham Palace. As you can see, there are many places that you can go see for free, walk around. All of London is a treat. Now, things to avoid. The London Eye, one of the biggest things. You get trapped in this claustrophobic circle for 30 minutes, and you do one loop on this Ferris wheel, and that is it. There are lines, huge lines, and it's £100 for a family. It is not worth it at all. Madame Tussauds, Sea Life, Shrek, these are all tourist traps. You can find them in a lot of different places in the world, but they are ultimately very, very, very busy, lines, expensive, and any tourist site that charges over £25 to visit for a family, it's not worth it. If you have a bigger budget, you can maybe visit Westminster Abbey or Tower of London, but other than that, it is not worth it. Why overpay for something that is not great? Food markets. They have them all around the world, but London has one of the best food markets in the world. They range in cuisines a lot, going from sushi to Brazilian food to Venezuelan food to Moroccan, vegan, anything you want, they have them there. They include the Portobello Market. This has a lot of antiques and food stands, and it is one of the biggest markets in London, open 7 days a week, up Portobello Road. Then you have the Duke of York Square Market. I love this market. I go there every single Saturday because it's a Saturday market. It serves so many different cuisines. Borough Market is, I believe, every day except Sunday. It's a huge market where they sell fish and stuff during the weekdays, but then they also have food stands on the weekend that are just for lunch. South Bank Market is on the South Bank. It is on the walk that I told you before, and South Bank is just such a great market. They have amazing steak and other stuff. Now, to shop. You can shop Regent and Oxford Streets, which is one of the biggest streets in London. They both have many shops. Westfield Mall is one of the biggest malls in the world with over 250 stores. All around central London, you can find many shops going from Primark, H&M, and Gap all the way to high-end Gucci, Chanel, and Rolex. They are all around London. Then you have these big department stores, Harrods being the most famous one. You should only window shop there. You can go inside, great experience, but it is freaking expensive. This thing charges you like £60 for a wooden slab that they call a cutting board. It is, you want to look at it, but not buy anything. Other places like that include Harvey Nichols, which is right across the road. You have Selfridges, Fortnum and Mason, Liberty, which is in Carnaby Street. So you've got many different department stores if you want to check them out. Now I want to show you a map that I created with Google Maps. Sorry for this on the left. It's not great. And it's very distracting, but we'll have to do with it because it's the only setting that you can do. So as you can see, I made some points starting here. This is Westminster. So this is the Westminster. This is Big Ben. This is the Parliament, and this is Westminster Abbey. If you cross the bridge, then you get into South Bank. Oh, that is so annoying. Why does this have to stay here? Okay, sorry about that. I did not notice that. Well, that black line on the right is the South Bank. Let me just quickly zoom back in. So this line over here is the South Bank. And if you cross the bridge, you pass this. I'm going to use the pen, then I'm just quickly erase it. This very busy area, London Eye, Sea Life. And if you continue this walk, this is the market and the Jubilee Gardens, which is the really fun playground. And you can walk further. You can walk further or you cannot. It has one of the best restaurants, which I will do in my restaurant video. And it is a really cool place to walk around. Next, we wanna move into Buckingham Palace. So Buckingham Palace is right here. You can go up the mall and you can go walk around next to Buckingham Palace. Really great. Here is some St. James Park, which is really nice. There's playgrounds there. when the flowers blossom, it's very pretty. Now, if you go, this is central London, Mayfair, Soho. You can start on Oxford Street. You can start at the Marble Arch, and you can work your way down. This is where Oxford and Regent Street meet. This is Regent Street. You can walk all around this area, and that is all considered like very central. That is Soho, really great place to visit. You have to go to this area, and you can make your way to Covent Garden, which that is a way bigger circle than I imagined. But Covent Garden is a marketplace. There are many free shows that you can watch, and buskers are there, and you can go to the Transport Museum, or you can just hang out, maybe have a drink, go to a restaurant. Now, the British Museum, one of the biggest museums in the world, is over here in Holborn. I believe you can see. This is don't know what that is. This is the British Museum, Holborn. Now, working our way west, if we go into Hyde Park, this is the big Hyde Park. The Princess Diana Memorial Fountain is for kids. You might say, why? Well, that is actually a water area, and they designed it so that water is flowing in both ways, up and down hills. Really, really great. And this is the playground. It is an amazing playground, perfect for kids. Down here is Knightsbridge. This is the very rich area. So, here in Knightsbridge, this is Harrods, here is Harvey Nichols, and if you work your way down Sloane Street, which has a lot of shops, here's Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, Chanel, you get here. This is Duke of York Square Market, and this is Saatchi Gallery, which is a free, smaller museum that I haven't mentioned before. Speaking on museums, 3 of the biggest free museums are right here. We start with the Victoria and Albert Museum, which is the V&A. You have the Natural History Museum, and you have the Science Museum, which are amazing museums since they are absolutely free. Sorry if this is very quick. I just need to get through a lot of stuff on this map. If you look up here, this is where Portobello Road starts, and this is where the market ends. So if you go up there, you can see a lot of cool stands. Then for shoppers, this huge complex is Westfield Shopping Mall. Now, I believe we have a few more things. Here is Regent Park with the zoo. Did not mention that, but you can also visit the zoo. And here is London Bridge, which means that here is Borough Market. Wow, that was quick. So yes, those are some of the main sites. I will be in the next video going over a lot of things to do with transport, how you get to places, the cheapest way to get everywhere, how to take advantage of the tube and buses. And stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe, hit a like, and smash that like button. Make sure to turn on notifications. Leave a comment if you enjoyed, telling me if this was helpful or not, because I will take your feedback. And here is Kids Who Travel, the kids travel experts who tell you about the world.